How's it going, guys? It's Eclipse here, and today's video we're going to be looking at the silver cost of the tanks and the upgrades and the big problem that I have with this new update. Obviously, it's been a lot better than Update 6.0 was when it was first released onto your console for both PlayStation and also Xbox One. Obviously, there's been some problems, and certainly I'll be mentioning them and certainly giving my opinion. I'd like to hear yours as well, so make sure you comment down below and give me your thoughts. Obviously, make sure if you do like this game mode to just list some of the things that you do like, and if you don't like it, then just list the things you don't like. I think that for me personally, I'm not a massive fan of this update. You can see mainly because of the price of all of these, the modules. You know, you're looking at 1.1 million silver just to pick up one module on a tank, and then you'll be researched by the next one, and then they all cost so much. Even when you look at something like the T44A, just for the second gun cost 600,000. It's not used on the next tank. It would be different if they were actually used up through the tank tree or the tech trees. But that's just not the case, and you can see by the T54, this one just doesn't really need it either. It's just so expensive just to pick up a package on the tank, and I just don't see why you would ever spend that on picking them up. I just think that the silver economy in this new game mode is ridiculous. I mean, if we have a look at some of the results, I don't know if I've got very many here, but there's just ones where I just think you just don't make enough money back for actually playing in them. I don't know if I've actually managed to got any results on this, but it is just silly, absolutely silly, the silver prices. You very rarely make too much money. I'm not even running premium consumables that much. I did try it without premium consumables, and yes, you do make a little bit, but you are at a very, very significant disadvantage if you do pick those. Now, we'll put some gameplay on in the background points during this video, but I do want to just talk about what the game mode is, what my first thoughts are, what they've got wrong, what they've got right, and basically give my overview as to how I found it when I first played. Obviously, I haven't gone up through the tech trees, and I don't know what it's like when you get up there. Apparently, you earn a little bit more silver according to Wargaming when you actually go up through the tech tree, so it's not so bad, but when you first start out, for sure, like, the upgrade costs are just ridiculous, and the way that you actually have to grind through the tanks, you've got a lot of silver XP to actually earn, and for the majority of players, you're never going to be able to actually earn the silver to actually fully upgrade the tank before you get the next one. So you're better off just saving up your silver before you get the next tank to just purchase that one as soon as you can. It's going to be better than upgrading your standard one and then just playing in the upgrade or the next tank along in the tech tree. I think we'll give our opinions as to what the tech trees are and what they'll actually are like so far. I think personally for the beginning tanks, I think that you're looking maybe at the Russian or Soviet line being slightly better for the beginning tech tree anyway, and then you'll probably get better by playing in something like the Abrams at the end. I think that the T72 BU is going to be good, but I don't think it's going to be as great as the Abrams. I think that you'll actually be able to use that top speed more in the Abrams. Penetration is fantastic, which means that you're going to more than likely be able to go through the enemy T72 BUs. You're going to have to play a little bit more like a medium comparatively to that Russian T72. But with the modern tanks, obviously it's going to be useful to go up to the tech trees as fast as possible, because obviously you're competing with everyone else who's currently grinding up the tech tree who didn't save up free XP to be able to get them. Now, the XP costs are costly, so you're looking at 1.4 million XP just to get to the Abrams, and the exact same on the Russian line. You're looking at the same amount to be able to get there. Now, the XP cost between the tiers is not actually too bad, so you will actually be able to, research the next tank within like 200,000 XP of the previous one on average. That's slightly different depending on which tier you're at, but as you work towards the line, I do want to note that the XP to get to the top one is cumulative, so it does change as you get XP. So it's basically like a total of XP you need to get throughout the whole entire line to be able to get the M1A2 Abrams. So it's not just that the tank will cost 1.3 million XP from playing it on the M1A1, it will just be from wherever you are in the tech tree right now. It will be, that's the cost to be able to get to the next, to get to that tank that you're looking at. Now, for the low tiers, I think that the Russian tanks have really good guns in terms of like comparatively to the American ones. You can get some really decent upgrades on there. You're looking for the American starting one. Your best gun is actually only a 100 or a 90mm with 200 damage, which isn't amazing and it's pretty weak. But then you look at the T44A, and that one has a much better gun overall. You can actually get a 122, so that will have 390 alpha, I think, which means you can actually have a lot more impact when you're taking your shots, and obviously you don't have to poke around so many corners. You can kind of hide a little bit more, and the accuracy is not particularly amazing at 100 meters, but it certainly isn't the worst I've ever seen. This one will be a bit more of a brawly one where you want to poke out, you want to deal your damage and then get back into cover. It's not one of those that you want to be sniping at the back end. So if you're going to pick between the two lines, if you're more of a camper, then you might want to pick the M46. But if you like to be up close and personal, use a bit more armor, then definitely the Russian ones are the way to go for you. We haven't got too much diversity, which is something I was a bit miffed on. Like, the only diversity is picking between the two alliances. Now, that's not fantastic, to be honest with you. Obviously, they're all heavy tanks as you get further up, basically. You start off with like medium tanks that somewhat have a little bit of armor depending on where you're using them against opponents of the same tier and also the same era. Because obviously you're split into 3 different tiers in one era. So like the M46A1 can actually match up against the M40A5. So it really depends on which one you're going for. And I certainly think that it's a bit costly as to how much it's going to actually cost to be able to get there. I do like the whole new tech trees. I think that they're good. I think the tanks that are in them are good. But the only thing is obviously there's not very many lines to be able to go down. It'd be interesting to have some more diverse ones. Maybe a tank destroyer with bigger alpha that maybe is slower and lower hit points, more of like a glass cannon. You know, I think that will come in terms of in updates in the future, but currently it's a bit boring. The playstyle is boring. You're coming up against 2 basically different tanks that you can possibly come up against when you play. That's the T44A or the M46. Yes, you can come up against those ones higher, like the T54 and the Object 165, but you know, that is the only diverse thing that you will see as you go up. If you've ground through a lot of XP, you will be able to come up against ones in the next era, so I guess it's a little bit more fresh, but it will get very, very stagnant very quickly. I found the camping is just so much in this new thing. I don't like how they've put you on the old maps as well, because what happens is they're not designed for it, and it just becomes a camp fest where people are just sniping enemies from across the map, and it just is so boring in my opinion to play. I played a game on Highway, and it was literally just camping it out against each other. Really, really boring, and I didn't find it entertaining whatsoever. I even came, second. It wasn't because I was doing bad or anything. It was just a case of like, the gameplay just wasn't it for me. Maybe for a casual player it might be interesting, or maybe the actual co-op mode might be more interesting in terms of if you just want to practice the game, you want to play really, really casually, you're just coming up against bots and stuff like that. But for the multiplayer, I found it really, really not where I would actually want to play, and hence why I've probably played more on the actual standard game mode than this new one that they've actually come in with. The equipment that you can get as new as part of this update in terms of the advanced powertrain and also the traction system are actually really, really useful on the standard game mode. You can go super quick. So I've been doing one in the Vanguard. If you've seen the video already, you'll see that how fast you can actually go. 88 kilometers an hour top speed in the Vanguard. I managed to get a 90 kilometers an hour top speed in the T50-2 that I used. I've got a video coming out tomorrow that we will actually go over that, so if you want to check that out, make sure to come back tomorrow, so subscribe for that. That will basically keep you notified when I upload. Obviously if you want to put the notifications bell on, that will just actually ding your phone when I upload. That will be at around 6 o'clock every single day, so make sure you stay tuned around that time to be able to keep up to date with all of this. I'll be doing guides for the various different tanks, how you should play them, map guides as well for all of the different new maps that came in, Calbang, you're looking at Desfall, they'll all be done for you, and then we'll kind of go from there as to what you guys want to see. I'll ask various different polls as to what you want to see next and what your kind of interest is. We'll do commander setups for the various different tanks of the tech trees, and basically this video was kind of like the introduction and to get your thoughts on what you actually think of the game so far, what content you want to be seeing. Do you want to see a mix of World War II, or do you want to see purely the Cold War stuff at the minute? Really interested to see what you guys are thinking, and that's kind of the key of this video. I think that there are definitely some problems. So obviously the Sixth Sense is actually a bit of a problem right now on the standard game mode as well as this one. It only lasts for 5 seconds. I don't know if that's intentional by Wargaming or just a bug, but that is basically half the time that you will be detected. Maybe they've done that in terms of trying to balance and make the skill that designated target that actually increases the time that you're actually spotted, maybe wanting to make that more effective. I don't know, but it really doesn't give enough time for you to actually be able to do as well, and I don't think that, you know, they should have reduced that at all. I think it might be a bug, but I wouldn't be surprised if Wargaming actually were just testing out reducing the amount of time that you're spotted. Hopefully that is just because it's on this new game mode and that it's accidentally carried across to the World War II. That would probably be my guess, but obviously we'll have to wait for confirmation, and as soon as we get some info as to what they're working on currently and the update notes, I'll make sure to do some videos on those as well. Now, in terms of the consumables, what have I found them to actually be good as well? To be honest with you, I think the smoke screen's pretty useless. I'm not going to lie. Yes, it increases your invisibility, but for me, it's really not that useful. Overall, yes, it pops the smoke, but it means you can't actually take out your opponents. Yes, you can run away, but if you position yourself in the right positions anyway, it's more effective to use, you know, your enhanced rations or the med kit in order to get your crew members back or just have a better performance overall throughout the entire games. I think that that's far too situational. Same with the enhanced whole patch kit. It just takes too long to repair as well. So the cooldown is 2 seconds, you've got 20 seconds, it only restores 5% of your tank HP, which is not a lot, and that's over 20 seconds, so it's really nothing too special. I guess over the course of a whole battle, if they last 6 minutes, you can restore 15% of your hit points, but remember, at the beginning of the game, you probably aren't going to be taking any hits for the beginning, so that 5% can't even be used for the first 2 minutes probably. So yeah, I just don't think that it's actually that effective, and I certainly wouldn't swap out any of the other ones that you could have, like the fuel boost has even become more of an option, considering you can put in those equipment to boost up that speed. Fire extinguisher, obviously very useful for the putting out fire. You want enhanced repair kit. I really don't think that these new consumables are all what they were cracked up to be. I don't think that they're particularly that useful, in my personal opinion. I mean, smokescreen can be fun, but it's not that effective, and the cooldown is 2 minutes, so it's a long time to wait before you can use it again, and I just think rations is just overall a better one to use than the smokescreen. Now, premium ammunition costing a lot in this game mode as well, so if you do want to fire premium to come up against those higher tier tanks in the era, then you're going to be costing yourself a lot of money, which makes it even harder to get those next tanks because you are going to be limited basically by the silver cost of everything. I don't know if that's Wargaming's tactic in order to basically farm the player base of silver so that people start buying silver more. Not entirely sure, or whether that just basically means that people are going to have to buy premium tanks, get premium time. Even with my premium time, I'm still losing money, and I'm only really firing premium in the odd occasion, and for the majority of games so far I've not even fired a single premium round, which makes it really disturbing as to how you're going to make money enough on these game modes. So hopefully that actually sorts it out as you go up in the tech trees, but so far really not enjoying the silver of these. Obviously I've put in my 9 skill commanders into both of the tanks by transferring them. You can do that if you want to give yourself a bit of an advantage. You can just swap out any commander onto any of the new tanks, so be sure to do that if you want to. But overall, kind of a bit disappointed with this update in terms of how it actually plays in game. In terms of the gameplay, implementation wasn't as bad as update 6.0. I just don't think I'll be playing this very much, to be honest, and I don't think it's what it was kind of cracked up to be. I think it'd be interesting to play the new tanks, but it's not something I'm going to be really, really super focused on trying to do. Certainly myself. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I hope that you leave your comments in the comment section down below, and make sure to like the video if you did. Tell me if you did, why that is, whether you actually like the new game mode. Make sure to visit the community tab of the channel to kind of cast your vote on what you thought of the update, because it's really useful to see what you guys are thinking. I'll be also posting polls as to what content you want me to do very soon, so make sure you have a look at that as well. And obviously, if you want to check out what actually came in during the update, then you can watch yesterday's video, which will detail basically everything to do with that. That will be linked on screen right now. But once again, other than that, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your week, and I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.